Okay, you guys, so this is me, Akina, and I was cooking, and I just wanted to get on here. I'm done cooking, and I just wanted to talk about some struggle meals that you guys can make that is less than $20. Um, Maybe this can give you guys some creative ideas on some meals and meal prepping, especially if you have a medium-sized to large family. I cook some green beans, um, sauteed in butter and salt, and I broiled some meat patties, and I used about I want to say about 2 packs of gravy, right? And of course, I added the meat patties and the gravy and let everything kind of marinate in there. Of course, I season my gravy and everything. You can use onion. I prefer onion gravy. So if you're gonna do any kind of gravy, you can mix your gravy. I do brown and onion gravy, and I just kind of let everything marinate in there and season my gravy. A lot of people don't do that, but I do. And I had some potatoes. I had about 3 pounds of potatoes, and I'm not talking about the big size potatoes, the kind you would kind of boil in meat or whatever. And I boiled that and I made some mashed potatoes. And that is an inexpensive meal, you guys. That's literally what I just cooked. I made about maybe out of a pound of ground meat, I made about 12 to 15 small meat patties. And then you're just going to add that to gravy. It's kind of like mashed potatoes, meat patty, and gravy. I've seen some people use hamburger meat. I don't like meat. I don't like big meat patties. I prefer to make up my own meat patties. You can also use the meatballs that you would do in spaghetti. I was gonna do that, but then I said no, and I literally just um, did that in gravy. So that is a meal. You don't have to do the mashed potatoes. You can actually do rice. I When I'm cooking meat patties and gravy, I prefer to use real ground meat, right? And I prefer to make up my own patties and season them, and then I add them into the gravy. And you can make up your own gravy using a little bit of flour. Um, and you're gonna kind of tilt your pan. You're gonna season your flour, and you're gonna add water into that pan to make up your gravy. Okay. I would have done that, but my kids are just like, we're hungry, we're ready to eat. And I'm like, oh my God. And I started cooking this morning when my order came in this morning. And I immediately started cooking. And this had to have been between 8 and 9 o'clock this morning. So I am done. I'm just letting my string beans just kind of cook a little bit, which I need to go turn those off because um, before they boil the pieces. And of course, I let them marinate it in the butter along with some salt. And yeah, I'm done cooking. So the ground meat you can get for under $10. Can of string beans, you don't have to go get the name brand. Actually, need to go back to the store and get a couple of cans of vegetables. I think I got this can of string beans for 50 cents. And your seasoned blend, it cost me about $2 and a small bag. And my iced potatoes, which I've already had the butter, and I use salted butter when I'm making mashed potatoes or cooking with any kind of butter. Um, the potatoes cost me about $4, so this is a meal that you can make for under $20. It's inexpensive, and if you're gonna do spaghettis, which I did buy 2 packs of ground meat because I may cook some tacos this coming week. My kids, we haven't had tacos in a minute, so I may cook some tacos or something, or make some beefy nachos, which I'm always getting online, finding these ingredients and stuff. So I need to go turn my string beans off, and then I had to add a little bit of water to my gravy. I don't like thick gravy. when I'm cooking this type of stuff. Um, yeah, a lot of people like gravy. I don't prefer thick gravy. So, okay, okay, string beans are done. Now you need to turn the gravy up a little bit on my meat patties. And I'm done, you guys. I am done cooking, so I just turned the all along with the string beans. I like a lot of butter in my potatoes and in my string beans, believe it or not. And I could have kind of let them simmer a little bit, but yeah. So of course you can use dinner rolls. Um, I am gonna make some sliders. That's another inexpensive thing. I just would go to the deli right in the store, and I would get about $3 worth of ham, cheese, and mozzarella cheese, and pepperonis, and parsley, um, with pizza sauce. And then I would make sloppy Joe sliders. You guys, I'm just so creative when it comes to food. So these are inexpensive, and then you can use the meatballs and let them kind of saute in the um, spaghetti sauce, right? And you can make like meatball sliders, turkey sliders, ham sliders, right? And you can kind of make those, and you're gonna saute the top of your rolls with I use garlic butter. So and what you would do is you would just you know get some butter, and then you would just melt it and add your garlic, and I would add a little bit of parsley in there, and that is what I would coat the top of my rolls with, and then I would just bake everything at 350 for about 10 to 15 minutes. So, you guys, I'm always making these meals and stuff like that. These are creative meals that you can make for your kids. And I know that food is getting hard for a lot of people right now and affording food. And I'm just throwing different options out here. Like when my kids would want a pizza, I would go buy the pizza dough, whatever toppings they wanted on it, and I made up our pizzas and baked them. And they tasted better than store bought pizzas and pizzas you would order. Because who can afford to eat out right now? No one can afford anything right now. And my kids, we haven't had meat patties and gravy in a while. So I said I'm gonna cook that today along with the vegetable. And yeah, they're not really fans of string beans, but I am trying to get my kids to eat more vegetables. The only time they eat vegetables is when I'm making gumbos or stews or something like that, and I'm adding these ingredients into that. So I do have to start getting things for Thanksgiving. So that is what I'm probably going to be doing probably next week, starting to get things for Thanksgiving. But I just wanted to get on here to kind of let you guys know what you can do to start making these inexpensive meals that are not going to drain you or rob the bank. And like I said, another thing you can do is make spaghettis. I don't add weenies or anything like that in my spaghettis. I've seen people do that. I just make spaghettis with just ground meat and ragu sauce, tomato sauce, and diced tomatoes. So, you guys, I'm just always making these creative meals so that we can eat. Um, you guys, I would get the crunching rolls, right? How what you would make out of croissants, and I would get these and get those little small beanie weenie sausages, right? And I would roll them up and make little homemade corn dogs. And my kids love them with Ketchup and mustard. Yeah, my kids are just weird. They eat their corn dogs with ketchup. So, and I think I've even seen my son use mayo. So I don't know what that's about. But anyways, I would make these homemade corn dogs, and that's what they would eat. And I wouldn't use the regular weenies. There are little beanie weenie sausages that you can buy. They're like party sausages, and you would just use those and make these little corn dogs out of. And that is what my kids ate. Um, that's another inexpensive thing. I don't know how much the little weenies are. You can get them in like different flavors, but I would get the regular ones, right? And that is what I would make to make their corn dogs with. Um, so you guys are gonna have to be creative right now with food because it's getting expensive. You know, last week we had Cajun rice with some chicken that I had um, breaded. So and then I'm always making dips and chilies. Like this is the weather I would make my homemade chilies and things with. And I haven't made homemade chili in a while. My kids are not really into that, but my husband used to love that because of course I would put beer in it. So you guys are you guys are gonna, like I said, you're gonna have to be creative with food. Um, just with how expensive things are getting. And for Thanksgiving, I'm just going to do some baked chicken. I'm gonna do some baked chicken along with some homemade dressing and some homemade macaroni and cheese. And of course, I'm gonna make two pies. And it's gonna be inexpensive. So I'm always cooking from scratch, and I prefer to cook from scratch because it's better and it's a better quality and things like that. So uh yeah, but you guys, I'm gonna get off of here. I'm going to go feed my kids. I need to eat. It's lunchtime. I haven't even ate breakfast yet, so it's brunch lunchtime here. It's a little bit after 11 here, so just gonna go ahead and take supper and well, not supper, but lunch, brunch, and call it a day. These kind of meals just keep your kids from being hungry. You know, especially with the potatoes and things like that. And fish sticks and potatoes are really good. Just different food options, you guys. So, um, red beans and rice. I was contemplating on cooking that, but I said no. My mom had stewed some chicken and gravy on yesterday, so I just didn't want that. I ended up ordering my kids a pizza, and they ended up eating that. Of course, you guys know my daughter's birthday was Thursday, so yesterday was her last day of celebration. My ex-husband did some stuff for her, and then I did some stuff for her, and that's just pretty much what we did. So that she got birthday money and all this stuff here. So it was really nice. And then I made her a candy basket for Halloween, and she got a lot of treats. So you, now it's on to making Christmas things. So I'm probably going to be doing something a little bit different for my kids this year. I'm going to make up their Christmas mugs, just using, some chocolate and stuff like that to put in the coffee mugs. And that'll just be their cups that they have to make their hot chocolate in. So I'm just going to be really creative with my kids um, this Christmas with some stuff that I'm going to do for them with the gift wrap. Just inexpensive gifts. So I just wanted to get on here to let you guys know, about these creative meals that, you guys can make for, your kids and your family that's not going to rob you of a lot of money. So, um, yeah, but anyways, I hope you guys have a good Sunday. Enjoy your Sunday. I'm I already started watching this Lifetime movie that I have going. I put it on pause just to go live, but I'm about to watch this movie, eat, feed my kids, and you guys take care. I'll see you guys sometime next week. I have to go back to class in the morning and Tuesday, and then well, yeah, I have to submit something off Tuesday. So Tuesday will be my last day in class, and then I'll be out for Tuesday and Wednesday. Go back into class on Thursday morning. So yeah, you guys have a good Sunday, and I'll see you guys sometime next week. But if I come up with any other creative meal options, I will list them here. Um, so you guys just try to stock up on food and things like that. If you can, if you can afford it. I know with the food stamp cuts, it's going to be very hard for a lot of people who need to get food and to get their pantries and things like that restocked and put some food in their house. So you guys have a good day and take care.